Good afternoon. How y'all doing?
Coach, how you doing?
Hey, man, it's good to see y'all faces now.
Is it hot enough out there for you?
Yeah, tell you what, I feel like I'm losing weight. I gotta hydrate. I didn't grab a popsicle at the break, so low on energy right now, man. You gotta grab that popsicle. Period 7.
Coach, with 59 new players,
Yeah.
how much of your time is meant to bring it all together and not just have 59 cats running around with you?
You know what? That's the give and take of college football nowadays. When you have 59 new players, man, you have to make sure, man, that you don't leave anybody behind. I think with this new group, what's been great is that the additions have been pure additions, right? They've added so much value to our team. The guys that we moved on, okay, it opened up opportunity for guys, like to be leaders. And I think what's happened, as we've looked at our group, normally what you do is you bring guys from the outside, to sort of talk about team bonding. We've done it from the inside out. We talked about our culture groups. We've got 30 staff people and we've got 120 players. And so when you do that, we've broken these groups up into mentors, or what we call champions, and really players, which we call siblings, right? And it's old and young, okay? Position guys are with different position guys, so we're actually getting to know ourselves. We talk about what's your history, who's your hero, and what's your heartache. And I think that's been a great part, man, for us to really establish who we are and get to know each other in a time and space where you don't have a lot of time.
How important has Nick been in this whole process?
Nick Vadiato and Devin Curtis and BH have been paramount, to this football team. I think what matters is that when you have guys that do the work, don't talk about it, but they do it, and it shows up every day, it makes it easy, for us to point to leadership and say, this is what it is. When we went to media day, we talked about it beforehand, and they assured me that we were going to be a player-led, coach-fed football team. And that's what it is right now. Those guys lead the way every day.
You mentioned the culture. You mentioned how important it is to get to know these new faces, especially on the field. How has camp been in terms of that progression? What have you seen from day to day the last week?
Camp is camp. I think the important thing in camp is availability, right? You're going to have some injuries in camp. You're going to have some guys going through it. That's where I think the cultural group is really added to it, because when guys get hurt, they think that they're behind. The reality of today's football is everybody's valuable, okay? I mean, everybody's valued. Okay, it's not just this idea about your older guys or guys with experience. We're gonna have to play some young guys this year, but we feel like this group has shown up every day in camp. The summer really set the bar for what we were gonna expect in camp, and what I can tell you is that we've got more new players showing up every day, okay, in ways that most of the time they don't show up just because, man, they're being given opportunity and they understand their value.
With 25 days left until the season kicks off on August 31st, first of all, that's got to be exciting just to hear that.
Right.
And then secondly, in terms of the progression and trajectory of where this team is at after about a week, what are you most excited for with 25 days to go?
When you look at the construction, that's what I say about this football team. We're under construction, right? I mean, the building, our team, where we sit, but this is not a rebuild. MTSU is not a rebuild. We're in a place where, they picked us to finish 4th. Why settle for 2nd when 1st is available, right? So we know that we got to gain ground and do what we can to be the best team we can be. That's what we can control, right? So the practices, the opportunity, the days to get better, they're going to start to dwindle. But for us, man, they know every day is a job interview. Okay, it's in the locker room. They get it. I'm always reminding. They're always being reminded that, we got as good a chance as anybody, so let's get to work.
It seems like you really enjoy being back out on the field.
Yeah.
Just the teaching part of it. How valuable has that been for you?
The opportunity to get around our athletes, to assist with coaches. The X's and O's are important. The development of players is paramount. So, this idea of teaching, I'm like every other coach, right? My voice is gonna, elevate. But I tell guys, listen to the message, not the messenger. Okay, let's make sure, okay, that we're focused on the details, because I say winning's about details and inches. Let's focus on the details. Let's grab the inches, and you'll see this football team getting better. And I think they understand that. I think they understand my personality, because every day I'm the same dude. Okay, man, it doesn't change for me. And I want them to be the same person every day. So give me your best, I'll give you my best, we'll give each other our best, and we'll give ourselves our best chance for success.
Coach, I'm melting out here, but your team had great energy at the end of practice.
Right.
How inspiring is that for you?
It's good. Generally, like, that's what I'm talking about, right? That's not a coach thing. You know, that's a player thing. This group has got a different type of bounce to it, okay? And that bounce, I mean, you can't fake that. You know, you can tell guys to rah-rah and cheer, but you know what it was? It was a competitive period just for push-ups. You know, it's sort of like, you know, like the idea of a T-shirt. You know, in football, man, guys will go crazy for a T-shirt. A guy will go crazy not to do push-ups, right? And push-ups, there's worse things than push-ups. But I think for them, you know, we talk about winning. And there's a winner and loser, okay, like every day. So you want to win more than you lose. And if you do that, that's how you stack days. And I think they understand the importance of moments, right? Football is about moments, okay? Energy, momentum, no momentum, seizing it. And that's what you saw in that group, like in that moment at the end of practice where it's the hottest, right? Let's play our best and let's see what happens.
So it wasn't the popsicle.
It could have been a popsicle because I felt my mojo slipping.
How have you grown as a head coach since your stint at Vanderbilt?
You know what? Great question. How have I grown as a head coach since my stint at Vanderbilt? My stint at Vanderbilt started with the idea that, you know, hey, man, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be this. You know, I know exactly who I want to be, but I didn't see the big picture. The big picture is it's not about the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes. It's what the guys can execute. What are their skills, right? And so now, you know, like with my coordinators in the experience in all three phases, it's about what do we do best? What do they do best, right? Let's adapt our schemes, okay, to our player skills. And I think that's exactly what we're doing right now. We look to be a different football team, man, because this group is being maximized, not minimized by a head coach's ability to think that, you know, he understands everything. I don't. I got good people around me, let them coach. I got good players, let them play.
And with so many new faces, Coach, how close are you to solidifying all those game day starters, or is it going to take the rest of the 25 days until that gets solidified?
I got a starting quarterback, right? I mean, I think, you know, man, it starts there. You know, like Nick Vadiato's put himself in a position with what he's done and where he's at, you know, like to be that guy. Everybody else, look, believe me, every job's up for grabs. So I think as long as you keep it that way, and we all know, man, you need more than one quarterback in today's college football. So I think the battles are everywhere. The battlefield's everywhere. So right now, man, this football team's motivated because everybody understands it'll be probably up until game week when we start to solidify this roster.
Coach, what is something that you maybe learned after your experience at Vanderbilt, something while it was on the sidelines, maybe at Auburn or Oklahoma State, that you can take into your second stint as a head coach, or even something that you learned in the press box that you didn't know in your first stint?
It's all about your strength coach, man. That dude spends more time with your football team than anybody else. I think you know, Jamie Blatnick has done a terrific job coming from Oklahoma State. Okay, played there, you know, was an All-American, played the NFL, was under Rob Glass, you know, one of the best in college football. I think what Jamie learned and what I learned with Jamie is that culture matters. And like culture gets created during the off season. These dudes are in good shape. Okay, and I think this football team understands how to work. And right now, it's just blue collar, like it's just been for us since we got here. So right now, I think that space has allowed our coaches to do more coaching and get better with our football team because we're a football team that's in shape. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
See you.
Yeah, go blue.
I got wide receiver Omari Kelly. How y'all doing today?
Great. How you doing?
Good.
Mari, how would you kind of describe the culture Coach Mason has built? Your first year here, coming over from Auburn, correct? How would you kind of describe what he's trying to do with this team?
I feel like he's trying to bring everybody together in a way that everybody can buy into. So, you know, there's always some people on teams that doesn't always buy into what the head coach is saying, but I feel like he's doing it in a very productive way where everybody can buy in.
You guys also seem to have a lot of energy today, a lot of excitement, especially at the end. Is that kind of telling of characteristic of kind of who this team is so early in season?
Oh yeah. We always try to bring energy every time, every chance we get in the weight room. Whether it's we listen to music, dancing, still getting the work in, or whether we doing stretch school, everybody having a good time, keeping good spirits.
When you make a transfer decision like you did, you got to believe in the guy who's going to be dealing the ball, don't you? Mm-hmm. What kind of impression has Nick made on you?
Nick has made probably one of the best impressions of everybody that I've been here, from welcoming me in to, because I didn't know anybody here on the team, so Nick was one of the first people I met, and I feel like the way he kind of brought me in helped me and him get a better connection.
Have you guys been able to develop more and more chemistry, especially this last week at camp? What has that been like?
It's been good. Me and Nick actually hang out outside of football, so it's not just a quarterback-wide receiver relationship. I consider Nick a friend.
How would you describe this offense Coach Mason is building? How would you describe kind of some of the characteristics?
The only one I can really say is very dynamic.
What do you mean by that?
Just everybody plays fast, everybody plays with a good tempo, and everybody plays really hard.
How does that friendship with Nick help you out on the field?
I think it helps a lot because I like to hang out with people outside of football. So I think having a relationship outside of football makes everybody's bond stronger.
What kind of opportunity do you think this team has in the path through Conference USA and, of course, the non-conference this season?
As good as opportunity as anybody else.
Why is that?
Because we brought in transfers, and everybody has to put on the pad the same way. Everybody has to go out there and play all 4 quarters. So I feel like we're going to play just as hard as whoever's across from us.
Do you think with so many new faces on the team, too, that creates a lot more competition in your day-to-day?
Oh, yeah, definitely, because everybody has something to prove, they feel like. So when we all get out there, it's like everybody's at each other's necks.
What's it like going up against Abdul, in practice and those reps every day?
We give each other work. That's all it is. It's great competition. Great competition.
What do you feel is one of many wide receivers in the room, that the wide receiver room will look like this year, especially with Nick dealing the ball?
I feel like we're getting where we want to be. We aren't there yet, but I feel like we're going to be a very good wide receiver room.
Who's a wide receiver teammate that's really impressed you in camp, just through the first week?
I don't have just one. I'll say Cam Lacey, Kellen Stewart, Miles Butler, and Sam Drivers.
What would be one word, if you could, to describe that wide receiver room in terms of what you're thinking about for the upcoming season?
Persistent.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, guys, this cornerback, Abdul Muhammad.
We were just talking to Amari about you guys going one-on-one a lot in practice. How has that been, and how much does he also make you a better player as well?
Yeah, I feel like we make each other both better every day. Like, you line up, you got to give it your best. You take a play off, you're going to get beat. So I know it's work every time, and I know I'm getting him better, he getting me better, and that's what we want to be going into the season.
You're one of 59-ish new faces on this team. What has it been like this spring, this new group of players where everybody is trying to learn each other's names, tendencies, and also play with each other on the field?
I actually got here in the summer, and I'll say on any team I've been on, this is like the quickest bonding ever. Like, since I came in the summer, it's like a family feeling. It's no bad blood. Like, people tending to help you out and reach out and, oh, hey, hang out, we doing this weekend. Like, so it's like a family feeling immediately. And we still know, like, when we get on the field, like, if you're on offense, you're on defense, like, we got to give each other work. And that's what we're doing to get better.
Has it been there's so many new people? It's kind of like summer camp. You just got to reach out and make friends.
I wouldn't say so for me, because coming in the summer, like, you don't really know who's new. So, like, until I heard it, like, that we have 59 new dudes, like, see, I see somebody and they, everybody's coming in there working, like, it looks like he been here, so I can't really tell.
How do you like your energy at the end of practice there? I mean, it's hot. You guys are rolling.
Yeah, the heat is. I love the competition. Ending it with competition like that, like, that's gonna bring the best out of you, because if it's competition, you got to do something. If you lose, like, you don't want to lose, so it's competition.
Coming over from El Camino, what has kind of been your biggest adjustment coming over to Middle Tennessee?
Biggest adjustment from coming over from a junior college, I would say, is in camp, like, being here all day, but I like it. We got resources, and I'm going to use them.
What excites you about the opportunity as you look at Conference USA and some of your opponents this season?
Yeah, I like just the work that we putting in. Like, every day people grinding, like, giving it they all, like, that's a team that's going to be something.
Coach Mason emphasized that this is not a rebuild here, even though it is his first year. Is that the belief on this team as well?
Yeah, like if you just come around and feel the practice atmosphere, like this don't feel like no rebuild. Like we're working to be the best, it's detailed in inches and everything we do. Like everything is detailed. We're trying to be the best.
Derek's a defensive coach, but he's touching every position. Do you see him or feel him out there at practice?
Oh yes, sir. He'd come over there during Indy, and he'd tell us something, like critique us and stuff, like give us little tools and stuff and put it in our box. Like he come around, he go around Indy, practice, everything. Like he helping. If he sees something, he's going to say something. He sees something that can make you better that you're not doing, he's going to let you know to get you better.
Is that one of the main reasons you came here, Derek?
Yes, I say one of the main reasons I came here with Coach Stu working with DBs and Coach B. Lewis working with DBs, and then Coach Mason also working with DBs. Like that's like 3 different heads that I could pick from and put in my toolbox and they stuff. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons I came to Middle Tennessee.
There's a lot of coaching up throughout practice, specifically on the DB side. What has been like the main message that the DB coaches have tried to drill into y'all's heads throughout camp?
Details in everything you do. The way somebody's aligning, the way their splits cut, like details and inches in everything they do. That's the game of football.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Quarterback Nick Mariotto.
What's up, Nick?
Hey everyone, how are you?
Are you used to these press conferences now?
I've done a few. I love them.
What's been the feel like this summer camp for you?
Hot? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's been great. I think today was practice 5. Just great energy all around. I think between the offense, the defense, practice from start to finish, there's a lot of energy flowing around. I don't think we ever had a dull period, throughout the first 5 days, which is good. I mean, the first 5 days are probably the easiest. When you start to get into full pads, things make, 10th practice start to slow down a little bit. But, no, listen, Coach Mason is on us, in a good way. Good energy. Guys have been flying around. I think the offense is clicking. Quarterbacks, receivers were completing balls in the pass game. O-line's been doing a great job opening up holes in the run game, and I think we've done a lot of good things, and now it's more just about being consistent with it.
With the new coaching staff and so many new players, how important was it for you as the starting quarterback to be the linchpin to this whole thing?
Yeah, I think it's just something that I had to kind of take on early. 59 new guys, you gotta find a way to bring in all those guys together, get them on the same page in such a short period of time. Because there's some of them were here in the spring, but a lot of them got here in the summer, and a lot of those player-led practices in the summer were really key to what we did. And I think just building that chemistry when coaches aren't around is super important. You got to get to know the guy next to you, whether it's on the field, whether it's in the locker room. I think myself, guys like Holden Willis, Brandon Buckner, who have been here, Julius Pierce, who were here, who stayed. We had to be leaders. We had to show these guys like this is how we got to go about things. This is what Coach Mason wants, and I think that starts with Coach Mason. He's done a great job just making sure that we're leading this team in the right direction, and I think we've all been on the same page, and that's what you want.
Is it a team already?
Yeah, I believe so. I really do believe so. I think the way we are together, we're a brotherhood. Out on this field, we compete with each other, we make each other better, but off this field, everyone's best friends, hanging out, eating lunch. Especially during camp, you spend all day, every day together. And I think, you might get into a scuffle here and there on the field, but it's not just football at the end of it. Everyone, the guy to your left and your right's your brother, and I really do. These guys have come together really well, and I'm excited about what we have.
Coach Mason emphasized how this is not a rebuild with this, even though this is his first year and there's so many new faces. Yeah. Is that the belief that this team can compete right away? Yeah,
100%. It has to be. I think having the mindset that it's a rebuild is kind of just defeating. If you go, people say it's a rebuild, that automatically means, you're probably not going to do well. Coach Mason made it very clear since the day he got here, and we didn't know who the rest of the staff was going to be. We didn't know what players were going to stay and leave in the transfer portal. He made it very clear his goals, his intentions, and he's instilled that in us, and we've kind of got it out to the rest of the team. And I think just moving forward, we are here, this team is here to compete. We have a great opportunity, and first is always up for grabs. Liberty earned it last year. That's a heck of a team. We have a lot of good teams in Conference USA, Jack State, to name one of them. Western Kentucky, obviously. But, it's a fresh slate. It's a new season. Anything could happen. We're here to compete, and that's what we're going to do.
So many guys enter that transfer portal now. What made you say, nope, I'm good?
I just think, what got me to MTSU, obviously, was Coach Stock being a great person. And I think when I met Coach Mason, when he met with us that first night, I really felt that same kind of energy. He's a great human being. First off, you even take the football away from it. He's a great person, and then you get on the football field. I mean, he's been around the game forever. He knows what he's doing, offense, defense. He has a ton of knowledge, and I think we just started to build our relationship from the time he got here. And I think, it came with a lot of trust, and we've had to build that trust. And I think, he was very clear about what he wanted, and I think we share the same goals and intentions. So, moving forward, I think, just him and I being on the same page, we agreed, like, this is what we want, and we're going to take this team. He's our leader, and our players are going to lead, and we're going to go from there, and we're going to compete and do everything we do each day.
Nick, I was watching a couple weeks ago, actually, the new college football game came out, and somebody was doing Road to Glory, and they went to MTSU, and the text that you can get, I don't know how much you've seen of that, but one of them got a text from you saying, "Hey, can you wake me up in the morning?" I screenshotted that and sent that to a buddy who covered last year.
Yep.
He said Nick Vadiota is the last guy that would need anybody to wake him up in the morning. What does that say as a leader, as a starting quarterback for this team in this upcoming season, that everyone can follow the example of, hey, we got to get up, we got to get to work every day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes with the position. You have to be a team leader. You have to be accountable. You have to do the right thing. You have to set an example, whether it's on the field or off the field. You got to come to meetings on time, be the first one in. Just kind of, whether it's the young guys or you're just setting an example for everyone else on the team, you got to show guys the correct way things should be done. And if you do that, if you get other guys to start doing that and being the leaders, like guys like I said, like Brendan Harris, Holden Willis, Brandon Buckner, like you have really smart, strong, confident leaders who can lead this team. Then you have other guys, young guys who are new, they start to follow, and then that's when you really start to get a team who gels together. They all kind of move as one. There's no one lacking behind, and I think that's going to really translate to the field when games start happening this fall.
If you knew that the job coming into this season wasn't guaranteed with the new coaching staff, what was your mindset, and were you a little intimidated by having almost to start from scratch?
No, I mean, I think obviously there's always uncertainty, but I mean, when it comes to it, especially in this game, you got to be confident in yourself. You got to bet on yourself. Really, that's anything you do in life, but you got to understand that, like, if you have belief in yourself, you're going to go out there and perform to a standard that's gonna be at the highest. And I think at the end of the day, I think I have a lot of confidence in myself. I feel like this is my fourth year. I'm going on my fourth year now in college football. I feel like I've learned a lot from guys ahead of me, guys in the past, and I think just trying to learn each day. We have a really competitive room, young guys, transfers. Me and Stone are the only guys from last year. We have three new great guys like Roman, who's a true freshman, Xavier and Luther, who are transfers. And we push each other in like a very healthy, competitive way every single day. And I can't be more grateful for those guys for the way they push me. And I think that's a part of the game. Like, it's all understood. Like, 4 receivers can play, 5 O-linemen, only 1 quarterback can play. And you just got to be unselfish about it. You got to make each other better, and you got to go from there.
Guys, good?
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
I'm going to pass out.
How's it going, Coach?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
How would you describe kind of this first week of camp, day 5, I believe?
Yeah. So it's really been a big emphasis on competition, right? And there's been great competition in camp between the offense and defense, but more importantly within the position groups. The guys get riled up for the competition at the end of practice, right? And how we're efficient we are, and how we're playing, how's the defense doing. But the cooler thing to see is how they're competing within their position groups and pushing each other to be better, right? And that's a good part of the competition.
Go ahead.
How helpful as an OC is it when you walk into an experienced quarterback?
Big time. Now, that in itself creates some hurdles, right? Because he's going to kind of learn a different language, and that's the reality of it. But also, he's been through a lot of battles, and he has a lot of game experience, and Nick's cool as a cucumber. And it's a blessing to have a guy that kind of is weathered and been calloused a little bit by playing reps. So that's always an advantage. And then the relationship that he has with his team, both on offense and defense, I think that's one of his biggest, character pluses is his leadership ability and his relationship with the locker room.
Coming over from Northern Iowa, top 15 passing offense last season. What are you kind of expecting from this offense dynamic? We've heard that word thrown around already this morning. From obviously an experienced quarterback and a pretty talented wide receiver room.
Well, it started in the spring, and the thing that in passing games, it takes trust and timing, right? And a relationship's got to be built. And there were some new receivers that came in, right, through the spring, and we weren't there, right? And our passing game was really not very good. And
we challenge the guys in the summer to gain trust and then create that timing. And it doesn't even take a defense on the field. You know, it's throwing to spots and running the right steps and throwing the ball with the right trajectory. And maybe this one takes a little bit of touch. Maybe this one needs to be fired in there. And those are the kinks that they needed to work out throughout the course of the summer. And then they get to bring them into fall camp. And that's the basis of the timing, you know, is you can get a lot done with even a defense not even being around, is the spacing of it, right? And how it needs to work out. But what we have to improve on now going forward is we have to string together plays in which we're protecting at a high rate. You know, I think that we've improved with our ability to throw and catch and be efficient, literally just completing balls, right? As silly as that sounds, but now we got to bring all 11 into it and be effective protecting at a high rate, and that'll come again with reps.
You sort of built a tight end room, you know, from scratch this off season. What have you liked about that dynamic in camp so far with them and how they're getting on as a group?
Well, our tight end room has a lot of different pieces, and they all kind of have different skill sets. So what those guys got to do is embrace who they are. You know, not everyone's going to get to line up like a receiver and run, you know, pass routes. Not everyone's going to get to be a line next to the tackle and block power, right? Those guys are going to play to their strengths and play within their skill set. I think Coach Gans has created a lot of buy-in with that room, and we say that every position group is going to be coached just like the quarterback with the detail, and that's the number. That's the group that's got to start with, because that's a really, really hard position, right? You got to be efficient in the run game. You got to be efficient in the pass game. You got to line up all over the field. So I think it's neat for them. I think they like it, right? Because they're getting to play, definitely, right? And that's the number one thing that's going to create buy-in is getting to play. So I'm excited how those guys will do.
In terms of what your outlook on the season is, what kind of offense are you expecting, at least potentially, that you guys can have once the season gets rolling?
Well, I tell the quarterbacks how I'm going to judge the offense, right, is number one, how we protect the football, right? Number two is how efficient we are. And what that, to me, what that means is are we consistently moving the ball down the field? I'm not talking about big, long shot plays. I'm not talking about big, explosive runs. But what will knock a defense out is consistently being 4 yards or more. And then how good are we on third down, right? That will determine the success of our quarterback and determine the success of our offense. So what I look forward to seeing is a team that protects the football. We're consistently efficient on first and second down, and then we stay on the field on third down. Everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Coach.
All right, guys. Assistant head coach and defense coordinator Brian Stewart.
How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Good. Chance to work on our tans today, huh?
Yeah. Were you surprised how much energy everybody had at the end of practice with it being so hot, or is that just characteristic of this team?
That's characteristic, especially we have that competition period at the end. So, you know, Coach Mason's is keeping count with the offense won, defense won, and whoever loses does 15 push-ups. So I did push-ups today, as you can see, but we won't have a lot of those.
Speaking of that competition, with so many new faces, both sides of the ball, how much has that created that dynamic, fun, competitive atmosphere, especially early on in camp?
Well, it's good. So we don't call it a depth chart as much as we call it a position chart. You know, you're at the safety position, you're at the outside linebacker position. And so that way everybody feels like they have an opportunity. You know, I don't want to name names, but I think, you know, at the outside linebacker is very competitive. And I think our starting safeties, I think that's very competitive right now. So I'm excited how we end up with those.
Philosophically, Coach Mason lauded your focus on stopping the run and how effective that, in your time as a defensive coordinator, that's been and phrased that. So I guess philosophically, why focus on, you know, stopping the run rather than, you know, stopping the pass? I heard you talking about it on the radio a little earlier, but, you know, why is the focus so much on, hey, these guys are not going to run the ball on us?
So first and foremost, if you start it with be violent at the point of attack, that's going to be stopping the run. And then relentless pursuit, that's going to be getting to the run, right? And then situational masters. As you go through those three things, you realize that teams run to control the tempo of the game. So if we could stop them from running and the only opportunity they have to advance the ball is the pass, now we can let loose. Now I can blitz. Now I can do a four-man rush and
do flood coverages, 3-on-2 here, 4-on-3 here. So that's why we want to stop the run first, so they can't control the game. We can control the game. Then now we can set the tempo and we can bring pressure.
How important is it for you to have athletes in positions, specifically maybe in a 3-4 defense, to where you can have guys in different looks just to throw off a defense or throw off an offense at a specific point?
When I first started coaching, disguise was big. And then guys with disguise, they didn't know what they were doing. So right now what I want to do is I want to show our structure and different guys come, but I tell the guys, hey, don't disguise if it takes you out of the framework of what we need you to do. And then so most of the time when we do our 3-4 structure, we look like 3-4, and they just got to guess out of the 3-4 which backers are coming. Are we the outside guys? Are we the adjacent linebackers? So that's kind of how we disguise and put forth our defense.
You have some edges that were in that sort of 4-3 system last year that are learning how to drop coverage and how to do some additional things that maybe they haven't been asked to do before. How have they come along, so far in camp, through the summer in sort of that aspect of their game?
That's a great question. I think they're right now, as a defense, especially those outside guys, they know what to do. Right now, we're trying to fine-tune how to do it, how we want to do it. If you're dropping, you got your inside foot up, you're surfing to grab the tackle, so the tackle surfs out to you, and then now you get in the crossover run, you pin your chin, looking at the quarterback. So we're doing all those things. That's what they don't know. They know what to do. They know, hey, I'm supposed to drop, but just we need to. We're in the process this day 4 of showing them how to do it.
Your first year here, but the previous 2 years, not 2023, but 21-22, defense forced almost 30 turnovers, at least both of those seasons. Then last year went down to 16. Is there an emphasis on, hey, let's get some extra possessions for our offense and derail some of your opponent's offensive drives by be very aggressive and forcing those turnovers?
Yeah, we're always trying to force turnovers. That's one of the cornerstones of our defense, right? To make sure we force turnovers. As a matter of fact, we have a big sign that says "Ball is king," and then the person who has the most production, that's forcing fumbles, strips at the ball, altered passes, interceptions, all those things. Those things are counted, and the guy who did that daily did the best. He's the king, and he's the king of the day. And so we emphasize those things over and over again, every practice, every meeting. And in meetings, we point out, here's an opportunity right here. Here's an opportunity right here. This guy's running. If you follow him, you got a chance to punch it. If you come through this way, now he can't cut back, and now we got a chance to strip him. So we're always talking about how we can get the ball back.
Sure.
Coach Mason said this year is not a rebuild. So what on the defensive side of the ball reinforces that, in your opinion?
I think if players or people around you feel that they can't do what you need to do, then they think it's a rebuild. But when we coach and coach with the edge and the attitude that we can get this done, then everyone understands we're going to get this done. That's what we're here to do. We're here to win right now. And I think that's the essence of football. We don't talk about next year. We talk about August 31st, and then the next one, and then the next one.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.